Right, frag color here, then the frag colors is its group. And this will just have to say frag color, I guess. Actually, what did it say for the GL positions? Did it just have position, colon, whatever? Oh, it says vertex color. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. Put this line back here. Each of the frag colors will say frag color colon whatever. Hope that works. Frag colors at 0. Let's see if that does anything similar to what I expect. Nope, something crashed. Frag colors at 0 has no target. That's weird. I have generate target right here. Oh, it's looking for frag color at 0.target. For when it's aligning. This should just be frag color. Line 2 frag color on the left. Okay. You know what part of this problem with the slowness might be? I am rendering this in medium quality. Okay, so that worked. It is medium quality, although I don't know if that should make that much of a difference using WebGL or OpenGL. Probably a slight difference at least. Still be super fast in medium. I think it should. I feel like there's a lot of time being taken up doing things other than rendering. And that spacing is off. This should be... colors at 0.target. The Cairo compatibility layer. There isn't that much Cairo oh. There isn't... I mean, there's a little bit to make it compatible with Cairo, that's true. I wanted it to be, like, completely separate. But yeah, that does seem to be a likely suspect. But yeah, I think the fact that we're still holding on to Cairo at all is probably net negative. And the 3 blue and brown version doesn't have to do that. Okay, that's good. I can shift this up a little bit less. Maybe this can only be times 1. But honestly, I even think scene caching is probably being used too aggressively right now. Like, doing it by default, I don't think we need to do. So I'm going to play all of this from the beginning. Effectiveness of dictatorships. Yeah. Okay, that was perfect. I'm going to try running the 3 blue and brown version. Do I have it? Manim upstream. Don't need any of that. There's definitely an argument there that maybe I should just do whatever I want in the community version and nuke things more aggressively. But people will get mad at me if I'm too aggressively pushed back against stuff. So yeah. Good old democracy. This is installing a lot of stuff. Did I not have this already? Okay. I don't even remember any of the scenes here. Order duty must. They would go ballistic. 1,000,000%. I forgot how to even use this. I guess the biggest proponent of not letting me do stuff is not working on the project anymore. Why did this stop here? Maybe we can do graph example. Yeah, this is... Well, it does have those pauses in between. This actually does have pauses in between where it's doing other stuff. Although, if I were just writing this to a movie... Yeah, it does actually do it too. It has these... Like, the rendering's going really fast, but in between the rendering, there's still... I think the pauses are maybe shorter. But those are there. So if I was like 7 animations down and I was making edits, this would be kind of annoying to wait as well. Okay. I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. I don't know why the surface example isn't even coming up though. What am I supposed to do here? Oh well. However, we still do need to nuke Pyro out of existence. And embed that's pausing it, yeah. Pass. Add, wait, play. Is it the save state? No. Did I just break something in this? For 3D scenes, try using surfaces. So it gets as far as this. Add the text weight 0.1. I guess it was happening. What it probably was doing a web request to Wikimedia. Seems like not a very efficient thing to do. Okay. Anyway, animation of the pipeline is basically finished. So that's done. That's pretty much done. I should go over the interpolation step. Okay, this will be a much simpler animation. This one's pretty much done. What was the other one called? Shader data. What are you working on? I am currently working on... I thought that was Aqua Beam for a second. The two names are the same color. But I'm working on a tutorial I want to give on using OpenGL. Yeah. Now this doesn't have to say that much. I just need to say... description. Vertex shading. Reads attributes and uniforms. And outputs. And sets outputs. Maybe since I said reads, I'll use writes. I'll say and writes. GL position, variable, and varyings. Now if I just add that, it's gonna look really bad. Let me see if I can just select this. No, it's not that high tech. To quit. But I want this to be something that's worth actually tweeting about and making a YouTube video of and stuff. And like broadly, oh my gosh, why isn't this shader inputs? It's right there. The goal more broadly will be to use Manim to make live streaming education or like using Manim in a live environment something that's practical to do. Because right now, I don't think it's there yet. Not quite. But that'll be a good first step. The Manim Dash live stream, what's that? Any Cairo-based solution to live streaming is unfortunately not going to be helpful at all. Manim presentation, a program that allows presentation. Yeah, it's not good enough. Just not good enough. Because if we want this to be really good, we have to be upfront about when the performance isn't good enough. Oh, this should have been OpenGL text. I guess without a GUI we can't really do it. Yeah, well, the GUI that I'm using right now isn't so much to use during a presentation, although that would be, it probably would be still pretty useful for that. It's more for modifying parameters on the fly. The dreadful performance. It's not dreadful right now. And actually, it's dreadful during development, which is actually a problem. But during a presentation, it's pretty good. So if I... So for example, the first thing that I did, OpenGL pipeline. Why isn't this quitting? Please? Okay. So here. Now, if I was giving a lecture, like I could do a lecture with this. I could say, all right, class. Wait, let me get my notes or whatever. So there are various steps in an OpenGL pipeline that the GPU must perform before writing to the screen. The GL pipeline will take in vertices as its data source, and will then apply a vertex shader to these. I should have a way to visualize this, which will transform them into normalized device coordinates. Following this, oh, I hit rerun. That was my fault. I should have hit continue. Following this, these vertices will be composed into primitives, usually triangles. These triangles are then rasterized, which is more or less a way to say pixelated, but it's converted into pixels, which can then be addressed individually. These pixels, or rather fragments, are fed into a fragment shader, which is responsible for coloring them. And in a final blending step, well, not final, these fragments are combined with earlier fragments to create the actual pixels, which are written to a frame buffer and rendered to the screen. Okay, so if I... Thanks. So if I had this animation already, if I already had this written, This would be really easy to do in a classroom environment. And it would be that much more effective if I leverage the interactivity to do something interactive. It doesn't really make sense in this context, but in another one it might. Oh, and then I have this, yeah. And this shows the state of the data at each of the phases of the pipeline. And so if you were teaching OpenGL, I think those like 30 seconds or whatever probably gives you a better, at least like maybe like 2 lectures worth of your first OpenGL, maybe 1 lesson, 1 lecture's worth of your OpenGL classroom. And it was a lot easier because it was graphical. So in that sense, it's pretty good. The development experience, that would be better if it was just lightning fast. And that I think we could work on really forever. I shouldn't say input. Oh yeah. I say description. But I think the best thing would be really nice for making the development experience better would be moving it to something compiled, honestly. Because if this was happening in, I would prefer Rust, then going through the first like 7 animations to get to the 8th one would be a lot more comfortable. Spend more time micromanaging small things than creating 80% of the project. Yeah, that's a big problem too. And like part of the reason, well, there are a few reasons I haven't been able to address that well. One of them is that they're just the Manim landscape is always changing, especially with this. Most recently, the change to OpenGL came out of nowhere. It just happened, and it's like, oh well, I gotta stop everything to do this. So that sucked. But also, since I rarely make videos, it makes it hard to tell what's even useful to do. Because the experience of someone using Manim to make videos is different than the experience of someone sort of just developing it. What is the parent of this? Oh. Like that text scene, so much of the problem was just positioning the text correctly. I think that's fine. Assuming I can color vertex shader somehow, which I'm sure I won't be able to. There's quite a bit of graphing and functions. That makes sense. Yep, not able to split this string. And I think my thing's completely frozen now. So that's fun. I don't need Vim, I'll just run the thing. Even this, should it take this long to make that change? Maybe it should. That's not terribly long, I guess. But anyway. Eventually learning Python one day. Which language are you most comfortable with? Honestly, probably Python. I just say that a lot. I say I should do a lot of things one day. I wouldn't mind using C++. Other than the fact that we'd just never debug anything. We'd run into bugs and that would just be game over. Like, I would rather become a plumber than debug C++ errors in Manim constantly. Rust will probably be better from what I've heard. It would also hopefully be better for bringing things online. Rust would be just as fast as C++. And likely safer. Well, and safer. Okay, let's scale this down a bit. Make this a 3.5. Like, I would totally want to... Like, I do want to rewrite the scene, at least the scene, in a compiled language. I definitely support that. Okay, I think that's all I want with this. Eventually I'll want to highlight these, so it'll say vertex shader, attributes, uniforms. These will be italicized or something. But yeah, a vertex shader reads attributes and uniforms and writes the GL position variable and varyings. Environment shader reads varyings and uniforms and writes the frag color variable. Yeah. And maybe I could like diagram this somehow. But yeah. I might end up adding a diagram to that. But for now, that is plenty. Homogeneous coordinates. I actually need to go over interpolation though. Which might be a little tricky. Maybe it won't be so bad. I don't think mobjects on their own can do this sort of interpolation that happens in shaders. But I think I can do that just by using GL directly. Okay, I can just select this. So now I'm gonna have to actually put a shader together.